Fort Worth, Texas. Hidden wonders, surprising beauty, and what most people don't know. Fort Worth is often described as where the West begins, a place with cowboy culture, stockyards, and Western heritage. But to think of Fort Worth only in that way is like seeing a single brushstroke in a mural. It's a part of the story, but not the whole picture. Fort Worth is a city of layers: history and modernity, art and nature, tradition and innovation. It's a place that surprises people because its spirit runs deeper than its reputation. This is the Fort Worth most people don't know, a city of soul as much as skyline, where every street feels like an invitation to look closer. 1. A city born of river and rails. Fort Worth's story started with geography. The city grew at a strategic crossroads, where the Trinity River met trails and rail lines heading west. The river wasn't just water. It was the heartbeat of life, irrigation, transportation, and a natural space that inspired early settlers and indigenous peoples alike. As railroads expanded, Fort Worth became a destination where cattle met commerce and cultures intersected. 1. The spirit of the stockyards, tradition with modern energy. The Fort Worth stockyards are an iconic part of the city. And while the cattle drives and Western storefronts are rooted in history, the stockyards are not just a tourist trap. They're a living tribute to a culture that shaped Texas. Every day, real cow hands drive longhorn cattle down Exchange Avenue, not just for show, but as a celebration of the city's roots. But the stockyards also surprise people with how alive they are beyond the cowboy imagery. You'll find live music venues where country and blues mingle, local rodeos, artisan shops, and food stands blending traditional flavors with new twists. The stockyards aren't frozen in time. They're tradition colliding with contemporary spirit. 1. The Cultural District, an art lover's dream. Fort Worth may be known for Western heritage, but its cultural district places it among the great art cities of the world. This area is a treasure trove, featuring the Kimball Art Museum, known for its serene galleries and masterpieces. The Modern Art Museum of Fort Worth, a striking contemporary space, and the Amon Carter Museum of American Art, featuring iconic works from American masters. These museums aren't isolated monuments. They are connected by green spaces and walking paths. Imagine wandering through quiet galleries, then resting on a shaded lawn beside reflecting pools. That's the cultural rhythm of this part of Fort Worth, a gentle blend of contemplation and creativity. 1. Nature in the city. Parks, trails, and hidden sanctuaries. Fort Worth isn't all concrete and cowboys. Nature thrives here. One of the best examples is the Trinity River Trails, a network of pathways that follow the river through forests and prairie fields. Cyclists, runners, and families use these trails daily to escape the noise. Then there's Tandy Hill's natural area, a 160-acre world of native grasses and wildflowers that explode in color each spring. And the Fort Worth Nature Center and Refuge is a massive preserve where bison roam and hawks circle. Fort Worth knows how to grow beauty, not just build it. 1. The Water Gardens, architecture meets. Calm nestled near downtown is one of the city's most unexpected delights, the Fort Worth Water Gardens. It's a world of sound and motion, a blend of architecture, water, and sensory experience. There's the active pool, where water cascades down terraces like a living sculpture, and the quiet pool, a serene space where reflections hold light and sky. Once you enter the gardens, feel the water's rhythm, hear the echo of movement. You realize this space is not just beautiful, it's a pause button in a busy world. 1. Neighborhoods full of character. Fort Worth isn't a single story. It's many neighborhoods, each with its own charm. Magnolia Avenue in the near South Side feels like a world of its own, tree-lined and vibrant, full of quaint cafes, vintage boutiques, and murals. People here don't just pass through, they linger. The Fairmount Historic District has a vibe that feels like a peaceful conversation between the past and now. And West 7th is a reimagined urban space where entertainment, food, and design come together. In Fort Worth, every neighborhood doesn't just have houses, it has rhythm. 1. Hidden murals and street art, color everywhere. In alleyways, side streets, and corners of downtown and the near South Side, murals bring walls to life, each one a story of creativity, identity, and community. These murals aren't just decoration, they're conversations, with history, with culture, with the city itself. Fort Worth's art isn't confined to galleries, it's painted on its streets. 1. Food culture, far beyond BBQ and steaks. Sure, Fort Worth is famous for barbecue and steaks, but its culinary landscape goes well beyond that. You'll find farm-to-table restaurants, Mexican and Tex-Mex spots with flavors rooted in history, and global kitchens blending tradition with local spirit. There are hidden gems in strip malls, food trucks parked by parks, and fine dining spaces that turn meals into experiences. Fort Worth's food culture isn't a single flavor, it's a conversation at every table. 1. Music everywhere, beyond the big venues. Fort Worth's live music scene doesn't live only in famous venues. Music pulses through everyday life. Blues and jazz in small clubs, country rhythms at outdoor patios, and rock and indie bands in intimate bars. You don't have to attend a big festival to hear local musicians. They show up in coffee shops, on street corners, and in parks at sunset. Music here isn't an event. It's the soundtrack of daily life. 1. Community festivals. With Heart Fort, Worth celebrations aren't just about spectacle, they're community threads, events that bring neighbors together. From the Main Street Arts Festival to the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo and neighborhood markets, these festivals aren't just destinations, they're life moments. Laughter, conversation, discovery. 1. Historic architecture and hidden history. Fort Worth's buildings don't just stand, they speak. From restored historic theaters to century-old homes, the city's architecture is a record of generations. But beyond the stone, there are untold stories. Communities formed by generations of families, quiet historical markers, and African-American heritage sites, rich in resilience. These stories are in conversations, homes, and personal histories that echo through the streets. 1. The Fort Worth Zoo, a natural jewel. Many people know of the Fort Worth Zoo, but few realize how committed it is to conservation, research, and habitat design. This isn't just a zoo. It's a space where species are cared for, ecosystems are mimicked with care, and education lives alongside wonder. Families don't just visit. They learn, reflect, and connect with nature. 1. The sky over Fort Worth. Light, clouds, and color. Fort Worth's skies feel wide, like a canopy that stretches longer and breathes deeper than other cities. The light here is not just illumination, it's atmosphere. Mornings glow with pale yellows, golden hours blaze amber across streets, and sunset skies radiate with color. People here know to stop mid-walk and just watch the sky change, because it never looks the same twice. 1. Most surprising of all, how Fort Worth feels. You can talk about architecture, rivers, museums, and parks, but until you feel the city, you don't fully know it. Fort Worth feels like a handshake and a smile, a slow morning coffee watched from a patio, music drifting from open windows, conversations between strangers who become neighbors, quiet moments by water with birds overhead, a sense that every day is an invitation to explore, to breathe, to connect. Fort Worth doesn't rush you. It welcomes you to be present. This city doesn't just exist. It lives in water, in laughter, in art, in history, in neighborhoods, in skies. Conclusion. Fort Worth beyond the expectations. Fort Worth is a city of water and sky, a tapestry of history and culture. It's art that lives in galleries and alleyways, and neighborhoods with soul. For every person who thinks Fort Worth is just cowboy boots and cattle, there's someone else watching longhorns at sunrise and hearing quiet music under oak trees at sunset. Fort Worth doesn't just invite you to visit, it invites you to belong. Once you've experienced Fort Worth, its water, its warmth, its rhythm, its sky, it stays with you. Not just in memory, in feeling.